Is it hard for you to wake up in the morning? And when you do wake up, do you hit the snooze button like 6 times? Or do you need 2 cups of coffee to remove that deep haze? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're in the right place, because I'm gonna give you 8 tips to tap into infinite energy when you wake up. Hey, how you doing? I'm Dijon. This is Dharma Glow. This is where we teach you how to live a liberated and luminous lifestyle. Glad to have you. And if you stick around to the very end, I will be giving you a couple of bonus tips to elevate your energy even higher. The first tip that I wanna give you is to change your mindset. When you think of a morning routine, it has the word morning in it, which is associated with death and funeral mourning. Your subconscious does not know the difference between mourning in that context and morning routine. I like to switch the language and therefore shift my mindset. So instead of morning routine, I say radiant rising rituals. For me, that feels much more expansive, and it feels like an intentional thing that I'm devoting myself to for my highest level of expression. And this process is a working in, because what you're doing is connecting with your inner being, your inner self, and you're charging up your energy as opposed to going outside of yourself to start the day. If your energy level is here, and you immediately wake up and start looking at Instagram or email or doing anything outside of yourself, you are spending energy to do that, so your energy level goes down. But when you start to do these tips that I'm going to give you, you increase your energy and your energy goes up. First tip right there. Next tip right here. So when you go out into the world, you either have this much energy from doing the practices or this much because you've already started depleting them. So you can see when things come into your awareness that you have to deal with and you're depleting your energy, you're starting from 2 very different places. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through these tips. So that's number 1, change your language, change your mindset. Number 2, right when you wake up with your eyes still closed, smile, take a deep breath, hold, think, I am grateful to be alive. Because it wasn't a sure thing that you would wake up, but you are awake, you are alive, and therefore you have a chance to live the best day of your life. So in your mind, think, I am grateful to be alive, and then slowly exhale. This form of breathing, when you bring consciousness to it, is called pranayama, which is a Sanskrit term that means breath control. Prana is the life force that exists in between the breath. The breath takes in prana and moves it throughout our body. So everything that's living is animated by prana. And the more consciously we breathe, the more prana we take in. That's why oftentimes when people think they need a cigarette, really all they need is a deep, conscious, slow, intentional breath. So next time you're feeling like you need a cigarette, maybe try a breath instead. I know that's off the topic of the morning rituals, but I thought I would throw that one in there too. Number 3, take a cold shower. There are numerous health benefits to taking a cold shower, like increasing endorphins or helping to ward off illness. But for me, it's a psychological thing, because even though I've done it for a long time, it's never something that I want to do. It doesn't feel good at first. It takes about 10 seconds before your body relaxes. But what it does is it gets me in the mindset to push past resistance to doing something that I may not want to do, but that I know is good for me. As an adult in life, there's lots of things you have to do that you don't want to, but are ultimately good for you. Maybe working out, maybe money management. But in order to accomplish the goals you want to, you have to be able to push past the resistance and do hard things, especially if you know they're gonna benefit you. Number 4, make your bed. I was talking about acts of love in the last video, and acts of love can be to a person when you're doing something nice, but if it's to an inanimate object, it can also be taking care of your space. When you take care of your bed and make it, 1, it's an act of creatorship. You're using creator consciousness. You're creating a positive energy flow. And it's an act of appreciation and gratitude. So it's another opportunity to express gratitude to your space, to keep your bedroom as a high vibrational altar-like space so that when you go in there to sleep, when you go back in there at night, you just feel ready. It's welcoming, and you say, oh, that's my beautiful bed. It's gonna welcome me to another, hopefully 8 hours of wondrous sleep. Number 5, meditate. I like to set a timer with Insight Timer. It's a great app. There's lots of guided meditations you can do on the app, but personally, since I've been doing Vedic meditation for almost 4 years daily now, I don't need to be guided. I can just set my timer for 20 minutes, start it, I get a little countdown for 1 minute, and then when the minute is up, I get a bell and I'm in my 20-minute meditation. And sometimes I go right into a guided meditation after that. If I'm feeling that flow, it's nice. I pull out my biomat, I get the photons heating me up, and I just allow myself to be guided and taken away. Insight timer, highly recommended. Number 6, move your body. I like to do yoga or do different mobility exercises with my favorite YouTubers. I just come into my living room, roll out my yoga mat. One thing I'd like to do is double up with my Korean practice by doing yoga with a Korean instructor. One, because I find the Korean language very calming and soothing, which is nice for the mornings, but I also get to practice learning the language and hearing it being spoken while doing my yoga. Also, all that pranayama stimulates electric current in your body. So the movement is what helps circulate it throughout your body, and then you are embodied in your God self and tapped into infinite energy. Number 7, write down a gratitude list. I know that one is very common, but being in the frequency of gratitude is a very high vibration. It's much easier to manifest things when you're in the frequency of gratitude. You attract things on that like frequency. So to be in the frequency of gratitude, 1, and then to write down the things that you're grateful for in a journal is also a very powerful way, because you're taking it from purely the mental plane to the physical plane, which is the process of embodiment. The whole point of being alive is to take our dreams and bring them down into the physical plane and live them out. So that is the first step to living them out, is writing them down. Number 8, consume high vibrational media. Most of the time in the mainstream world, the things that are being messaged to us aren't conscious or uplifting, so we have to make an intentional effort to take in things that make us feel more expansive, make us feel more confident. I like to listen to Chris and Teeb. They make trap formation, so it's like trap music with those sonics, but with really positive lyrics. I also like to read things that have very high consciousness. One of my favorites is Londrell. I read his stuff and it puts me on a certain frequency. I feel very empowered to start my day seeing the world from a place of gratitude, bliss, non-attachment, joy, etc. All right, so those were the 8 tips to tap you into infinite energy, to electrify your being. But I got a couple more tips for you. The first bonus tip is to get outside for some light therapy. It's a fancy way of saying interact with the sun. When you get outside, you want to have the sun going directly into your eyes. You don't want to be wearing sunglasses, at least at this time in the day. Allowing the sun to stimulate your circadian rhythm, which is actually going to help you sleep better and help your body function better in general throughout the course of the whole day. You want to be spending 30 to 45 minutes out there, so maybe take your podcast that you want to listen to and get some good learning in, or that's a good time to listen to that trap formations or whatever you want to do. So this last bonus tip is to create before you consume. After you've been charging up all that energy in all those different ways and elevating your frequency, you're going to be tapped into your creativity in a way that maybe you haven't experienced before. So when you come back here from the house from your light therapy, or you're done meditating, or whatever the last thing was in your sequence, try writing a poem or playing music or doing anything that creatively inspires you, because ultimately what we love in a creation is the energy that's transferred through it. Think about why a painting is worth more if it's the actual painting than if it's a print. It's because the artist transferred their energy into that painting. So anything you create in this high frequency state that you've consciously cultivated through these radiant rising rituals is going to carry a certain charge, and everyone's going to be able to feel it. So give it a try and leave me a comment and let me know what you created and how it felt to create that. So I do all of these things in my altar, which is here, and I also have one in my room. If you're interested in creating this type of practice for yourself, and you'd like to know how to set up your own altar, check out this video right here where I give you a little tour of my personal altar and show you the things that I've accumulated, where I explain what an altar is, what you do there, and what sort of things you can use to populate it with, whether it's crystals or certain books, or even a certain intention, so that you can utilize that space to cultivate your own radiant rising rituals. Tap in here and I'll see you in the next video.